Hello and welcome to Around the Scene, presented to you by Playing with Rockets. I'm one of your hosts, PWR Ryan, and joining me today is Daddy Perino. How you doing, man?
Hey, how you doing, Ryan? It's good to be here.
Dude, it feels like it's been forever since we've done this.
I know. Well, it's just been a busy couple of weeks. I don't think our schedules have aligned, but it's good to be back
The
in the
week
guest
before, last week, you did it. You hosted the show.
chair.
Went really well. We got a lot of good feedback on it and stuff. And then also, guys, if y'all do like the idea of other people coming on and hosting the show, please let us know. We are interested in the idea of a revolving host. But we want to make sure that that's something you guys want before we try to proceed forward with offering that. But man, you did good last week.
Thank you. I appreciate it. And I tried to emulate you as much as I could. I feel like we're fairly similar on the actual, in the way that we talk and the way that our
Yeah, I think so
personalities
too.
sort of shine through. So I think it works for that. So.
Yeah,
But
worked
I
out pretty well.
appreciate it. Yeah. It was again. It was also the first time I'd ever done any sort of like back end like production like that. So I was definitely
Yeah, and you had to do
nervous,
you had to set everything up like last minute too. So
yeah. And
that
I was
was
at a
rough for
friend's
you.
house because I didn't have the internet in my new apartment yet. I just moved apartments.
Yeah,
I didn't have it, so it wasn't on my home PC. It was on my friend's computer. It was a lot. But again,
you
all
did it,
good
man.
mode.
I was proud of you for that one. I went back and listened to it later on after like we posted and everything. I was like, that was really good. I like that.
Thank you.
But guys, if you didn't know, this is episode 18 of Around the Scene. Gosh, 18. It feels like we just started this yesterday. We're here every Wednesday to give you your fix on all things Rocket League. If you like this, be sure to give us a follow or sub here on Twitch. You can also go kick us a subs over on youtube.com/playingwithrocketsrl. I had to tag on the RL part because our arch nemesis, the band Playing with Rockets, took the URL first.
Oh,
But we finally got the URL, so I'm stoked about that.
yeah, that's super exciting. I'm glad that I listen. I did the full sellout. I did the complete full sellout
You
for
did
the
it.
YouTube channel. So I'm glad that we got there. I'm glad
Yeah.
it was not in vain.
Guys, I will give you a heads up though. It is raining here at my house, so if for some reason stream gets weird, it's because of that. The recording will still be fine. So for those of you who are going to be listening later on YouTube and podcast services, you should be okay. But for those of you who are watching live, if we cut out, that's why.
Unlucky.
Yeah. Quick shout out to our Patreon sponsors for the month of August. We got Father of Five and Jonesy. You guys rock. You are our stones, and we love you. So we're going to move on to the Rocket League news for this week. And boy, do we have some big ones. We got 3 items. The biggest one, the headliner for everybody watching at home, RLCS Season 8 has been announced, and it's got a lot of stuff going for it. So I'm going to just read out some of it real quick for you. Leveling up the RLCS Season 8. This is the rival series portion of it. Leveling up the rival series. As the seasons have progressed, it's become clear to us that the number of fantastic players in our competitive ecosystem is continuing to rise and shows no signs of slowing down. To give even more players a shot at making the RLCS, we've expanded the rival series to include 10 teams, up from 8 in previous seasons. This move brings more high-level players into the rival series mix while also adding more matches for teams to prove that they have what it takes to compete for a coveted spot in the RLCS. This also means that 6 teams will now retain their rival series spots at the end of the season, adding more stability and opportunities to work toward a long-term spot in the RLCS. In addition to this, we've added an extra week to the promotion tournament, with the first week featuring a brand new rival series regional playoff. With this, we're shifting focus from the beginning of the rival series to the playoffs, when every result counts towards an RLCS spot. That means that the play-ins will no longer be broadcast, but there will be an additional week of broadcasted playoff action. This new phase of the promotion tournament will feature a page playoff format with the top 4 rival series teams competing for the chance to be one of the 2 teams to compete in the promotion tournament. Qualifying rival series teams will play in the standard promotion tournament format, double elimination bracket. for their shot at RLCS qualification. We believe this change gives more teams a meaningful chance at staking their claim for an RLCS spot. A lot of information there.
Yeah, that was there's a few things to go over, so we'll have to sort of break it down. But
so the big things there is that, one, there's now 10 spots for RLRS, which is awesome. So that means that for the play-ins this time around, there's going to be, for North America, 7 spots, and for EU 7 spots, because Triple Trouble broke up, so one of them got promoted. So okay, yeah, so 7 and 7 for both of those regions this time around. Man, EU is going to be, both of these regions are going to be blowing us away with how many people are going to join in. Raw Greg from last week, I think their team's making it.
Oh yeah,
prediction.
Oh boy,
they've been insane. But really, it's just crazy to see them finally making this change. This is a change that a lot of people have asked for. And this is one that I have been really thinking they need, because this is part of why people don't want to bother with Rocket League, is because the second your team falls down to this area, it's like they could get kicked out so easily. Making it 6 teams makes it to where, okay, there's a lot more stability here. Like, just adding those 2 extra spots changes the stability so much.
Yeah, and you have to give them a lot of credit. And I think what a lot of people are saying, and I tend to agree with this, is that they're going with this expanded size because I do think the follow-up action will be to expand the size of the RLCS. So I think that they're sort of trying it out this season, and they're going to get a feel for it, for how it works with 10 teams, and how it all works out. But yeah, definitely huge, especially if you're on the outside looking in to the RLRS this season. If you're in the play-ins, well, guess what? 2 extra spots just opened up straight out of the blue. So your odds just got not that much better, but good enough now where.
Well, and there's so many teams that they've come right up to the edge of making it, and they just barely missed the cut. Like, we saw the team before the current RBG roster with the Car, Noxes, and Thunder. That was a really good team that they just barely missed out on a spot. Had it been 6 then, those guys would be in the RLRS right now. And they were a really good team that could have made it. And there were several that were really good, just barely missed out. So I'm happy to see that more people are coming in. My only worry is that by adding this, you're still going to have people who are just like, oh, it still isn't enough. You need to add more. Let's make it 12 now. And then let's make it 14. Like, you're going to have people who are just going to say, like, let's just keep expanding it. And it's just like, I think at some point down the road, they may increase it to 12. I would say that's the cap. I would say don't increase it past 12 if you're going to do that.
Yeah, it's definitely something to look out for. I would say honestly, the biggest thing for me personally, like as a viewer, is now with 10 teams and the way that they changed the promotional playoffs. So previously it was just that the top two teams out of the RLRS had the chance to compete in the promotion playoff. Now there's a playoff into the playoff, if that makes sense.
Yeah. Well, now it just means that just because you do well in the league play doesn't mean that you're guaranteed that position. Just like how it is for the LAN, which I think that's fair. That is fair in my opinion. If you're going to do it for the RLCS LAN, you should also do that for the RLCS promotion relegation tournament.
And I think that does 2 things. One, I think as a viewer, it makes the RLRS much more interesting because previously, we've seen it in a couple seasons where, especially if one team is really rolling, and one team's going undefeated, it becomes uninteresting. Like at the end of there's just not a lot of drama because typically the spots are pretty much ironed out. You know what's going to happen, and it just creates this sort of awkward, series of games. And this happens in all sorts of sports leagues. This isn't.
Yeah, that was kind of my thought too. Is like this isn't. It's not as if that's something that's just unique to us, but I totally get where you're coming from. If it kind of kills some of the excitement for it.
And so with 4 teams having the shot to with 14 teams having the shot to go up into the promotion tournament, and then with the playoff itself, it definitely adds much more entertainment value to the RLRS, which I think is crucial. I know I've seen in the past that the rival series is actually one of like the most watched like secondary leagues in all of esports.
Yeah,
I
it
remember
is.
seeing that somewhere,
I
but
haven't I haven't seen the exact numbers for it, but I have heard that stat, and I've heard it quoted by I think like Jorby and Stacks. So
right.
I'll give it credibility because it's coming from the guys who have actually casted it and stuff, and who've actually been working with Psionics. So like I can totally buy that, and I'm happy about that. Like it makes me excited about that. I guess my biggest gripe with this new upgrade here is that we're not doing the RLRS plans now. There's no broadcast for that.
Right.
Like that
Yeah,
sucks
so
because that's such a big part of what makes RLRS RLRS. You get to watch these teams that you've been watching in all these community tournaments who they've gotten their little fandoms behind them, and this is their chance for them to get cheered on into being in basically the minors. Like that's a big thing, and like I think that it's wrong to take that away from the teams and the fans of those teams.
yeah, I think that goes both ways. I think it actually probably takes some of the anxiety and pressure away. I mean, it's obviously a really stressful day,
Yeah.
especially if you're on a team that is
I don't
close to
think a
making it.
stream will really change the stress, to be
No,
totally
not that
honest.
much, but it is something.
Yeah.
And the other part too is we've had this debate around the scene in the past where I had to do it. I'm sorry.
Puns, I dig it.
Daddy Perino. I had to make the dad joke. But we have seen this conversation around the scene in the past, with, what's the best method for getting people into the RLRS, and, choosing not to broadcast it. I think I agree with you is a shame because it is.
Yeah.
It's part of the entertainment value. It's part of the reason why you'd want to watch is because you just want to see the teams that and the
Hmm.
teams that you've talked to and that you started to follow. You want to see them get in.
Yeah.
You want them to have that moment. Like, I don't know.
Yeah, no, I'm kind of the same. But it's weird because they just said there's not going to be a broadcast, and I'm assuming they just mean it's not coming from the studio. Is my impression is like they're just not going to go rent out that day in the studio basically.
Yeah, well, it's probably
And
expensive for them to do it.
well, yeah, and so I kind of understand why they're like taking the day that they would use for this and moving it over there. Like, it makes sense to me. But they're just not clear of like if they're gonna pass it off to someone or if it's just not gonna get streamed no matter what. Like, I mean, they're still probably gonna have Rival Esports doing the B stream for RLRS, and they're gonna need that even more so now that there's 10 teams. And
Right.
so I would hope that there's plans to have them broadcast the play-ins maybe, but so far there's been no information, and as far as we know there's just not going to be a broadcast, which leads me to a point that I want to make. There have been some organizations that have said they're going to make sure that these get streamed. Here's the problem: if you do not get explicit approval from Psionics, then they can't do that. Because if you're a team and these communities say, hey, like, we want to join in so we can broadcast the game for everybody, would that be cool? Yeah, give us a password. If you do that as a player, you can get disqualified and lose your game. Like, so just a word of caution to you guys as players, if you're watching this, is just make sure that you have no doubts that this has been guaranteed by someone. And by no doubts, I mean they should be an admin or a moderator on the Smash bracket and be able to get in themselves. They shouldn't have to ask you for anything. If anyone comes to you and says, hey, give us the code so that we can get in to stream the game, don't do it. Just don't do it. That's not a good idea, and I don't want to see anybody get disqualified over something like this.
Yeah, and especially if you're at the point, where, if you're getting to the day three, quote unquote, the final 128 of the planes, and you're that close to it,
Yeah.
don't mess about. Make sure
No.
that, you know, if someone is going to broadcast your games or whatever, make sure that they're good and they have, as Ryan said, that they have admin access and you're not sharing the password with anyone, because it would be really, really, really unfortunate.
Oh, I would hate to see one of these teams like give out the code. They're maybe like 2 games away from making RLRS. They give out the code and they're just immediately disqualified from the whole tournament. Like I would hate that so much.
Yeah. So just be smart, kiddos.
Yeah,
It's like any other password.
yeah, just word of caution. Just make sure that you're not handing that stuff out whenever you go through the plans. If anybody wants that stuff, they should be able to access it because that means they've gotten clearance from Psionics. If they're asking you for it, don't give it out. Just because I've seen a couple of organizations who are like, oh, like we'll do it, and it's like I haven't seen Psionics come out and say that it's being allowed to anybody. Because I mean, like playing with rockets, like we'd love to do it, but I'm not. Unless Psionics is like willing to let community organizations come in and do that, like no, and like they'll let us know if they want us to do it. Like that's the other thing too is like
Yeah.
part of why I haven't gone out and been like, oh, like we'll do it, is because it's like if Psionics wants anybody to do it, like they'll let you know. Like it's not like they're gonna just let it be.
Yeah. The other thing, with the advantage, of course, of Sonics being a smaller studio is you have those contacts, where you can just shoot a message to someone. You can just be like, hey, saw this thing. Let me know. It's not like, you have to wade through, a bunch of nonsense to try and figure it out. You can just get a straight answer one way or another, which is a good thing.
Yeah. But real quick before we finish off this part of the news, just so you guys have some of the dates and information, signups are open starting now and they close on August 26th. So go sign up before August 26th, okay? And then the qualifiers go for North America. I'm not even gonna try and read that part. That's just a lot of dates. That's no good, especially with how many audio listeners only we have. But the play-ins themselves, North America will happen September 28th, and Europe's rival play-in will happen September 29th.
Ryan, you gonna be competing this year? You gonna be getting a team together? Trying to make it in?
That's rich. That is rich. No. The answer to that's just gonna be no. Like, I am terrible at this game. I love talking about it. I love commentating it. I am a garbage diamond player, and I am where I belong.
Yeah, I've been considering it this season only because I think like I looked at some of the dates and they sort of work with my schedule. So
Yeah.
I'd love to give it an honest run. Honestly, I'd be really proud just to make it into the day three. The actual play-in qualifier.
No, like being a top 128 team, like that's really cool to be able to say that you did that.
Yeah.
And like it's so funny because like I know several teams who have made it there. Like several of the top 128 teams from last season play with us. It's like it's cool to be able to say that, especially because they have so many people sign up. It's ridiculous.
Well, yeah, honestly, I sort of blame that on I don't know if you're well, I'm assuming you can remember it was like a few years ago. Remember when F2 did it and it was like with old, Neat Mike, John Sandman,
yeah.
Wolfless. I think it was like season 4 of RLCS.
Yeah, I think I remember that. Yeah.
And they actually did like really well.
Yeah,
like,
no, they did.
They went like super far.
It was actually really funny to watch that one.
Oh my god, that was again.
I want to see them make a run for it again. John Sandman's been grinding it out. I want to see him do it.
Dude, Mike probably hasn't picked up the game in like 9 months.
I know, but I want him to come back in just for the fun of it.
It would be fun, but it made it super popular to do the play-ins with them.
True.
Because they showed, how much fun it can be. So.
Yeah. It's a cool experience. I can agree with that. I don't have a team for one, and two, I will get first rounded. Before we move on to the next bit of news, we're going to show the trailer real quick for the RLCS Season 8 announcement. For those of you who are audio-only listeners, it's only 36 seconds long, so... I love it. It's gorgeous. They always do
I
such a good job with those announcement trailers.
I actually hadn't seen the video for it up until you just did it right there. So yeah, that was
You're welcome.
thank you.
One thing I do like before we move on to the next one is I like how they always change how the logo looks for each season. Because like season 5 they did like the neon. Season 6 I can't remember what they did. Then season 7 they had like the purple tint to it and stuff. Then this season they've got like the all gold look to it. Like I like how they change the design each time they go through.
Yeah, no, it's definitely they do a good job of marketing the game. Well, they definitely have like a very specific style and brand that they stick to it, and it
Yeah,
always
they do.
looks good. If nothing else, Rocket.
It's definitely eye candy for sure. But moving on to our next bit of news, we have Beyond the Summit announced the groups for this weekend. It's this weekend. That feels so weird to say because like we've been talking about this for so long. Like it's finally upon us.
Right.
But the groups are going to be for Group A. Actually, I don't know why I'm trying to tell you guys. I'm just going to show it. But there we have Group A, Vitality, NRG, G2, and Dignitas. That is going to be a fun group.
Oh yeah, that's a mess.
Because, I love Group A because you've got all the former Dignitas players.
Yeah. They must have done that on purpose.
I feel like they had to. It's so good, though. I love it. My only thing is, like, I wish they would have, like, switched G2 over to Group B so that, like, then you have Rogue G2 again. But, you know, we can't have everything we want. So that Group A, Vitality, NRG, G2, and Dignitas. Group B is going to be Frontline, Cloud9, the Bricks, and Rogue. For those of you who don't know what Team Frontline is, we're going to discuss it in the roster shuffle, but Frontline is formerly the PSG roster.
Yes, so that's Farah, Chaussette, and
Fruity.
Yep. I almost said Bluey. Reflexively, I almost said Bluey, and I was like, wait, no.
Come again.
Right.
But yeah, so we have that coming up this weekend. Do you know much about Beyond the Summit? Have you ever seen any of their other stuff?
I haven't seen it for the other stuff, but I did look into it, especially when it was first announced. It's very similar to the Gold Rush event that we've had in the past, right? Where they have like the whole house and they do. It's
similar, but it looks way more professional. It's funny because it looks professional, but it also looks like it's grassroots. It's really weird. So it's like they make it look as if they're broadcasting from a basement. But like it's actually like a really nice backdrop and stuff. They have like very nice equipment and stuff doing all the production and all that. And then they have like all the players like palling around off to the side playing games while they wait and stuff. Like it's much more relaxed than a normal tournament, but I don't think you can expect it to be as relaxed as what Gold Rush was.
Right. Well, because they're still competing for a decent chunk of change, aren't they?
Oh yeah, they're competing for a lot of money. But the games that the stuff that they're doing for the money is hilarious to me. Have you seen like what the schedule is?
Well, I know they're doing like they have like a mafia side game, right? And they have
like they just have a lot of funny stuff they're gonna be doing, and like I'm so excited for this, man. And then also they have drops enabled for this. I don't know if we announced that last week or anything.
Oh, fun. So we can pad some viewer stats, baby.
Yeah. But yeah, so going through the schedule real quick for it, just in case, because I don't know if we did. I don't think we have gone through the schedule yet for Beyond the Summit. But Beyond the Summit, the schedule is going to go for day 1, which is August 16th, which is this Friday. They have a group stage. They have a regional crew battle. Then they have rock, paper, scissors. I want to know how that's going to work out. I have no clue how they're going to do that, but I want to see it. And then day 2, they're going to have the second part of the group stage. They're going to have Rocket League crew battles. Again, it's the finals this time. First day is regionals. This is the finals of it. And then they have 3v3 All-Stars. Then they have Mafia. They have Mafia at the end for both day 1 and 2. And then day 3 is just playoffs.
Yeah, that's a pretty loaded schedule. I mean, those broadcasts could be running essentially all day, right? I mean, that seems like a lot of stuff.
It's going to be running for a good bit of time, but you're not going to want to peel yourself away. Like they're a lot of fun to watch. They really are. You get to watch the famous stream where Garrett and all of them were doing the DreamHack play-ins or DreamHack qualifiers, and like they were all palling around and stuff. Like you're basically gonna see more of that, except in the flesh. You actually get to watch them this time. So it's gonna be a really fun time. I'm pumped about it. But you have anything else you want to add to this bit?
No, I think we covered it well. Who do you think? All right, we always like to do predictions on this show as well. Who do we think takes it down for the main event? I should say.
Who? We haven't seen much for this new NRG team. I don't think we've seen anything for them yet.
Are you suggesting that their first time at LAN with the 2-time or the
3-time?
Sorry,
The 3-time.
The 3-time.
I think they could. I really don't know how well they mesh with him yet. I have no earthly clue how well Justin and Garrett mesh with Turbo, but I mean they have to mesh pretty well for them to have gone through with this pickup. So, if they felt that was good, everybody else thinks it's good. I think it's good. I'm gonna have faith in it. I'm gonna have hope in it until I see it fail, and then I'll say, okay.
Yeah,
So.
this is a really interesting pick because, I mean, all these. I feel like I'm looking at the 8 teams. I feel like any one of them can do it. I really do. Like honestly, like
No, like the gap feels like it's gotten so close.
Outside of maybe Rogue and Dignitas, I think those are definitely 2 teams on the outside looking in. But the other 6, so between the Bricks, Renault Vitality.
I don't know about Rogue though, because Rogue took down some really good teams at LAN. They've shown that they're a LAN team with that.
I just don't know if they do it twice in a row. Oh,
I don't know if they'll do it twice, but I just don't know that I'm willing to count them out after they did so well.
Which is fair. So with that in mind, I'm gonna take a stab in the dark. I'll go with Vitality. You know what? I'll go with Renault Vitality. Just because
I'm wearing their hat and I'm not even picking them.
Just because I always pick NA teams, and whenever I do that, they seem to drop off. So I'm going to pick an EU team this time.
And then hope they drop off.
Yeah.
Reverse psychology, people.
But now that I said that Vitality is actually going to win, so all the Vitality fans out there, you're welcome.
But moving on to the next bit of news. This news coming from Australia. Gfinity Australia will be ceasing operations at the end of November 2019. So for those of you who don't know, Gfinity is the ones who run the RLCS stuff for OCE. So right now we have Psyonix runs them for North America and EU. Rocket Street runs it for South America, and Gfinity runs it for OCE. But with them ceasing operations, it's to be seen who's going to take their place. I personally don't know enough about what all production-wise or organization-wise is in OCE, but I'm sure they're all going to be fine. And to be honest, I think that this might actually be a really good time for Psyonix to just step in and take over.
Yeah, and OC is a difficult region too because, they're sort of on the outside looking in. The 2 major regions, of course, are NA and EU, and it's like, it's hard to watch their games even because of the time difference.
Yeah.
Like it. I'm East Coast NA. It's like it's painful, which no one you can't really do anything about that.
Yeah,
There's
I
nothing
mean,
you can really do.
best
I'm
you
not
can do is
I'm
just
not
go
gonna
back and watch some VODs.
right, but again, it's hard to really get behind it. So I can understand. Again, I think the Gfinity closing isn't necessarily related to Rocket League, but I can understand why there's challenges with getting someone to do the production because
Yeah.
I think oftentimes it can be difficult to justify for the viewership.
Yeah. But I mean, I think if I'm looking at Psionics right now, the idea that I get from them is that eventually they want to have an operation where they're just in charge of everything, even the other regions. So my hope here is that maybe they see, okay, Gfinity's stepping out, so for season 9 they will need to either find someone else to take over that position and be their kind of point of contact there and take care of everything, or and like because they right now they're not the same things. Like we have RLRS, we have RLCS, NA, RLCS, EU, but it's like they go under different names. They're like Gfinity and then Rocket Street for the other two regions. So it's like my idea here is that season 9, that's a great moment for them to come in and say, okay, we're taking over operations for RLCS stuff here in OCE. They get their own RLRS possibly, and they get their own RLCS. So now it's like how we have the logos. We have like
Mm-hmm.
RLCS NA, RLCS U, RLCS OCE. And then eventually
Yeah,
they do the same with SAM and Asia and whatever other regions they bring in. That's
yeah,
that's what I think they should do personally.
yeah, and it's just odd because you feel like they're sort of almost treating OC like a second class citizen. It's this weird segmentation of regions where it's like you have the two powerhouses, and then oh by the way, there's
I mean, I kind of understand though. Like a lot of people don't like that, but at the same time, it's just like until the skill level's at a point where, until the skill level and the viewership are at a point where you're like you can feel like you can justify it more. I'm with people. It sucks, but I get it. Just like how they don't receive the same kind of prize money as we do for different reasons.
someone out there put a phenomenal meme. It was like
Yeah,
it was on
it was the
the
guy who's in charge of the Asia Pro League.
yeah
I know exactly which one you're talking about.
because it hit the front page of the esports subreddit on the meme Monday that they were on there, and it's like yeah, we have, I got $50,000 prize money. And it's like it goes down the list, and
Yeah.
like in
You're getting
OC's kind of
50,000.
like
I'm only
you're
getting a
getting 50.
thousand. You guys are getting paid.
This is the guy in the issue. You guys are getting paid. It's like, well,
Yeah. So I
but
mean, I get it. It sucks, but like I get it.
yeah, and again, at least we still have really high quality orgs in OCA still. They
No, we
still
do.
so there's definitely still some investment and some stability
Yeah.
on at least on the very top end. But as you said, the skill level overall I think needs to rise before we can see OC get the same level of perks and attention perhaps as
Yeah.
NA and EU.
But this news, it's not going to affect anybody until season 9. So there's really nothing to. We're not going to have anything to say about this very quickly. But as that once the information of like what they're going to do is released, we'll come back and let you guys know. But that is going to do it for the Rocket League news. Now we are going to go on to the roster shuffle. So the first bit of roster shuffle stuff we got going on, PSG has officially dropped their roster of Fruity, Chaussette, and Farah. What are your thoughts on that, man?
Really odd considering how long PSG has been with that core group. They've had a roster going for, I mean, it's what, season 4, right? For RLCS
Yeah.
they've been in. And it's not like PSG themselves are strapped for cash. They're they're a huge, Paris Saint Germain, the soccer club,
Yeah.
France. I mean, they've got tons of money, so it's not a money issue. Um, they have mentioned, based on their statement, that they
I
don't.
have their statement pulled up, so I can read that real quick if you want.
Yeah, and I'll let you read it, but basically they sort of say they might not totally be done with Rocket League, but I'll let you read it so we can get the full, full context.
So this coming from PSG Esports, quote, great sadness today. Our most successful team to date is leaving. Thank you for everything at Farah, Chaussette, and Fruity. We wish you all the best for the future. We are not done yet with Rocket League, though. Stay tuned. End quote.
So, of course, the immediate question is who do they target for a pickup if they're not sticking with this iteration of PSG? Kind of tough to say.
I honestly don't know. Like, they're making it seem like they're going to go pick up someone almost. And, like, it's such a, like, it's weird because it's like they almost make it seem like they're going to go pick up someone else. But then you kind of start looking and you're like, well, who could they even pick up? Like, it gets kind of weird.
So there's who? The Bricks, right? I'm talking strictly EU. I'm assuming that if they were going to do it, they would pick up the European
like
team.
they would have to, I would think. I mean, because
right? It would be odd if they didn't.
It'd be weird for them to come pick up a North American team.
Oh, that would be nuts, wouldn't it?
That'd be weird though. Like
because it's an international brand though. It's not like PSG doesn't have American fans. I mean, let's be really clear. They're a huge soccer club. It's not like they have to be in EU.
Yeah, but it's one of those things that, like, I don't know. I guess I find it weird whenever like orgs go and get teams that are way outside of their region. Like that, I know that you can do it and everything. Like, you can still have a really successful team. It's one of those things though that, like, I still have a really hard time, like, wrapping my head around it. Like Complexity, for instance, they're based in Dallas and they've got an EU team.
Well, like, G2 has it the other way, right? They're based aren't most of G2's professional teams outside of Rocket League EU, and then they're one.
I know their League of Legends team is EU. I don't know about the others. I have no idea about the others. But yeah, you just kind of get into that territory of, like, who are they even gonna look to pick up? Like, because I don't know. Like, let me see real quick. The teams are. See, like, the only other team that I can. It just doesn't make sense to me. Like, I question if they just, like, decided they wanted to hop out for now and if they'll come back in. I don't get it. But so the teams right now are FC Barcelona. They're not getting that.
Nope.
Dignitas. I don't think you'd want that. Frontline, the team they just dropped. Renault Vitality. Renault Vitality's not selling their team. Team Solo Bid, maybe? I mean, they haven't had stellar results, but I don't know that if I'm PSG, I'm dropping a team that went to LAN for a team that didn't. And that's where it gets weird, is because it's like they had a top 4 team. Like, they had a top 8 team in the world, and you're dropping them for someone else, maybe?
Yeah, I mean, keep going down the list because I think there might be some possibilities at the end.
I just don't see these ones, though. It still just doesn't make sense to me. Like, Complexity, Veloce, and the Bricks, like, none of those make sense to me because Veloce and Complexity just came up from RLRS. So, yeah, maybe, but I just don't know that I'm, like... Complexity just had their drama with Flakes and stuff, so you may question how much stability there is on that team at the moment. So I don't know that I'd be looking at them. Veloce did best in league play, but they couldn't win the promotion tournament.
Right, and then you have the Bricks who just barely survived the drop.
And so it's just like, I feel like any other team that you could go for is a downgrade.
Right, and especially, again, because PSG has, there's a brand element, too, of they want to have the best team, right? Because they are the best soccer team in France. I mean, that's just how they are. So,
Mm-hmm.
they're it's similar to I think what Evil Geniuses said, right? With the whole Drippe thing and
Yeah.
dropping Corrupted G in classics. They said we're a premier organization. We want a team with high end results.
Yeah.
So they might just wait it out. They could sit there and see. I could potentially see TSM, but
Like
considering
I could
TSM
see
just
that
got in,
one, but I still am like,
yeah, is it really worth it?
I just think that's a downgrade. Like that's my ultimate problem looking at this from the outside is everyone that they could possibly go pick up right now just looks like a downgrade. They don't look like they're better than what you had. Because now you had Triple Trouble leave, or they just lost their spot. So, of the 4 teams that went to LAN, you've got 3. You had one of them. And you know damn well that Vitality and Barcelona are not going to give up their rosters.
Neither.
Like
No chance.
you know they're not going to. Like Barcelona just picked up Alpha, so that's out the door. Vitality just won Worlds, so that's out the door. I mean, well, actually, hold on. I say Vitality's out the door. I could be totally wrong there because Gale Force had a world champion team and they sold to Dignitas. So
Yeah.
that one actually, that one could be possible. If I'm Vitality though, I don't think I would.
The comparison to Gale Force, I think, falls a little bit short, only because apparently we learned at the end that Gale Force was pretty strapped for cash.
Oh,
And
were they? See, I didn't know
yeah,
that.
and that was a lot of the reason why they sold, was because they just had like management and money issues. Um,
Uh,
PSG does not have that issue.
no.
They are very much
Well,
the opposite.
neither does Vitality.
And neither does Vitality, exactly. So, um, yeah, I just no, I definitely agree. I think the course of action is probably just to wait, and that sucks. But
I guess it just feels weird though.
maybe they pick someone up. Maybe they wait for EU RLCS league play, and they see who's going to LAN. Maybe pick up a LAN team. Before they go to Worlds. But
That's my problem is you just had a LAN team. Like, I just through and through, like I just don't understand where they're trying to go with this. And like it could just be like because I don't understand the EU side very well. Like, I mean, I live in North America. Naturally, I'm going to have a better understanding of the North American scene. And I'm trying to learn more about the EU scene. But just, I mean, like you're saying, they have to just be waiting. But I just, if you're going to just like you're taking a break from Rocket League, I guess. Like, I don't know. It just doesn't make sense to me. And I just can't wrap my head around why they would go about it in this way. But, I mean, it's each their own, I guess.
yeah, the rumor is, and again, this is speculation, so take it for what it is. But the rumor is that their contracts were up and they were looking for an extension, and that the players and the org just couldn't come to an agreement on what their rate would be going forward,
I can
which is
understand
fair.
that. I can agree with that then.
Totally fair.
If it was because of something like that, then it totally makes sense. Like, I buy that reasoning very much. But as a player, like, that still is such a gamble in Rocket League.
Oh, I know. And especially to leave someone like PSG, there's so much security with that.
There's a lot of security with them. I mean, PSG haven't won anything crazy lately. Like, I mean, they made it to LAN stuff, and like they've done kind of like Cloud9, where like they place really well, but they don't quite win it. And
Right.
Cloud9 wins some, but Cloud9 always is like a top 4 team, And so it's just one of those things where it's just like, man, like with the way that Rocket League and orgs have been, I don't know that I'm willing to sit there and say like, okay, we're just not going to do this if you're not like, as a player, I feel like I would almost cave in and just be like, y'all don't want that? Fine, then we'll lower it. Like, we still want to work with you. We still want to get, like, we want the security you provide.
Yeah, that's the big thing too, is like, because you, again, with esports in general, like the orgs themselves have been less than stellar in a lot of areas,
Yeah.
especially with paying their players. So when you have a brand like Paris Saint Germain, backing you, and you realize, like, again, like, the cash will never ever be an issue with them. Like,
Well,
I
and see,
I think there's a lot of
my thing isn't even the cash. My thing is so much is just having an org at all.
well,
Because
that too.
we've seen that organizations are not exactly eager to jump into Rocket League, and a lot of that comes down to the fact that it's unstable, which is why RLRS is great. Adding those 2 extra teams, it adds stability. That's a good deal, but it still doesn't fully solve the issue of providing great stability to Rocket League. And until that issue is fully fleshed out and fixed, I just don't know that I'm willing to jump shit from an organization. And I mean, I would say, oh, they've got another organization lined up probably, but they gave themselves a team name, Frontline. You don't typically, like, most teams don't really do that if they don't already have someone backing them.
Yeah, and it's
Or
possible
if
they
they
just
have
picked
someone
like
already
a
backing them, I mean.
yeah, that, like, they have some sort of like private investor or whatever, and then they're shaping the name of the team and the org around that. But
Maybe, I
yeah,
don't know.
I'll say for for us, mere mortals, I really think the biggest disappointment in all of this is that now we won't see any PSG esports decal
For now.
for now.
They said they're
But
coming back, I believe. If I were them, though,
well,
I'm not
I
picking up
wanted
any of the
PSG
current
decal
teams.
so bad. You know how nice that would have looked. A Barcelona
Oh,
one's
it
gonna
looked
look
great.
amazing too. Again,
Um,
for any other soccer nerds out there, oh,
we spent a lot of time on this one, so we're gonna move on to the next one.
okay.
Yummy Cheese. This is basically the same thing. I didn't even think about it. Yummy Cheese Man is the new coach for Frontline, formerly
Hey,
PSG. Same deal. I'm happy for them. Yummy Cheese Man, for those of you who don't know, he's the OCE commentary. He's like the main guy from OCE that everybody knows and loves. Um, so I don't really have a whole lot to add to this one. He will be at Beyond the Summit though.
that's cool. Yeah, I'm
So
assuming DreamHack Montreal then as well. If they do the same thing with coaches, right?
if
Right?
if they have a way to get there. Now they don't have an org. It's
Oh,
yeah. So
yeah.
it's like that's part of why I still had so many gripes with that. But yeah, so he'll be at Beyond the Summit because they are already getting everything paid for. Unless they like win qualify. No, because qualifiers have already passed for Montreal. Did they win those?
I don't know.
I don't
have
even
to look
remember.
it
I
up.
don't even remember what
I'm
the
gonna look
results
really
were
quick.
for that. It's
I'm
been so
gonna
long.
I'm gonna
But
look
if they didn't get that, then they have to basically like fund their own way to it. While you're looking that up, I'm just gonna move on to the next ones. The next bit of roster news: Sathu and Shock are teaming up with Dapper for RLRS Season 8. For those of you who don't know, during the Montreal qualifiers, Sathu and Shock played with First Killer. First Killer, though, crazy player, too young. He's not eligible for RLCS until Season 9, so they can't play with him. So they had to find someone new, and Dapper looks like the guy that they're going to be going with. Dapper, he's such a good player, but he just can't seem to find a team. And I saw someone sum it up really nicely on the subreddit of every time Dapper joins a team, everyone's just like, oh, this team's nuts. And then they just do not live up to standards.
Yes, really quick. Formerly PSG did qualify for Montreal 2019. They placed second in the closed qualifier, so they will be going.
Oh, so they are qualified. They got the full ride and everything.
Yes, because they got
It's like top 3.
second. Yeah. So
Okay.
they did it. They're
Okay,
good.
yeah. So then
But
if that funding extends out to a coach, then Yummy Cheese Man will also be there.
which will be cool. But
Yeah,
anyway,
that'd be cool.
back to yes, this new NA team with Dapper. Yeah, as you were saying, it's really really accurate because there's so much hype for him, but the results just frankly haven't justified the hype.
Yeah.
This is someone who's been at the pro level for a long time now. This is definitely
Well, he's at the pro level, then he fell right below it, and he's just been like hanging around like right at the top of the bubble, ready to break back into RLRS and go to RLCS, but he hasn't left the bubble yet. He's still stuck here with the rest of us. Oh, and here's
honestly.
oh, say it.
Or, I was gonna say honestly, I like the look of this team. I know we were just saying about being careful hyping them up, but it seems like it's a good move. It's Safi
No,
Shock.
and that's the thing though, is
Yeah.
every single team that he goes to, it looks like it could be a good team, and that's why I love this comment so much. It just sums everything up perfectly. This comment comes on the subreddit from Suzuki Coupling. For the past 6 teams Dapper was on, people described it as a quote potentially nutty team end quote. I'll believe it when I see it, and that's
Yeah.
true. That is so like. That is one of the few times that I'm like a comment perfectly encapsulates like this entire thing. He is such a good player, and every team he's been on, people are like, "Oh, that's a good team," but like he just hasn't been able to find the right team, which sucks. Like, and it's crazy too because his previous team was triple commit, and that was with Bork and Savvy Seal, 2 guys who have 5K hours together as teammates. And
Jesus.
their new third is Raw Greg, who we had last week, and like he meshes so well with those two, like it's ridiculous. Like it's unfair how good they are.
Yeah, so it could honestly just be a playstyle issue. He's Dapper's known as a very mechanically nuts, quote unquote once player. I hate using that term, but
I mean,
you know,
he's pretty good
I
one. So
mean, but it's like it could just purely be a playstyle issue where even if he's individually great, it doesn't translate well into 3v3, which
yeah.
we've seen for several different players, who have been around the top level but just haven't broke through. So yeah,
Oh no.
again, we'll have to wait and see if they can make the push into the RLRS.
Yeah. I mean, I hope for the guy that it is like because it sucks right now. I mean,
Mm.
it sucks that like you have all this talent and you just still aren't finding your way back into it all. So we'll keep you guys posted as that team's results unfold. And then the final bit of roster news, 72 Pin Connector has picked up their team for RLCS Season 8, or RLRS Season 8, I mean. That team consists of Lion Blaze, Noxes, and Jacob. That, again, on paper,
Also,
looks like a really good team.
yeah, and you'll probably hear us say that a lot because
I feel like I have to say on paper now because it's just like until you see results, like you really can't base anything.
yeah. So I like the fit with Lion Blaze and Jacob together. I feel like it's a lot of firepower.
Yeah.
It'll be interesting to see how Noxus rolls into that as well. But
Yeah, I'm interested too because Noxus has been kicked and moved around from so many teams, and it's just like the guy's good. He's like Dapper. He's really good, and I just want him to find his forever home. So I'm hoping that this team works out well. I mean, pretty much for all their sakes, because Jacob is a player that I love to watch. Noxus is a guy I love to watch. I don't know too much about Lion Blaze, but I do know that he is a really good player.
yeah, same thing. Another ones player. It's where he's picked up his
Yeah.
popularity. Going on like Johnny Boy streams and stuff. But yeah. Again, as we said with the previous team, there, we're gonna have to see and wait. On the results. Next couple of weeks are gonna be really really decisive for.
It's gonna be so hectic in these next couple weeks because you're gonna see. Because I was just mentioning the other day how it didn't feel like we were seeing as many teams kind of find each other, and now it looks like suddenly everybody's gonna have to be like, you don't have teammate, I don't have a teammate. Let's buddy up. Let's partner up. It's like everybody on a like school project. Whenever you look around the room, our teacher says, "Group up for this project that we're doing for like the next 5 weeks." And you look around, you just like see your buddy way across the classroom. You're like, "You, get over here!" And like you have your buddy, and you just like see some other person sitting around who doesn't have one. You're just like, "Get in here. We need another person."
Yeah, that's I mean that's pretty much how it is. You know, there's sort of like I feel like there's sort of like tiers almost to teams that are in the bubble. There's like
Yeah.
so there's obviously like there's the RLRS, right? I mean, well, RLCS, sorry, I'll start at the top. RLCS, then RLRS. And then there's a group of teams that are like just below RLRS, like on their day could have made the qualifier.
Yeah.
And there's like a group of like maybe like I would say like 7 to 8 teams, like where you could really look at and be like, okay, these guys are the ones that we probably expect to make it out of the qualifier. And
Yeah.
then there's like the tier below that where it's sort of like, this is like where you're in like your 6 man sort of like rank A, B plus sort of area.
Yeah.
And it's just like, well, whoever I can get and whoever I mesh well with is good enough.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's really a balancing act
So
from that
it's
point on.
all I can say is this season of RLRS is gonna be insane to watch, and I could not be more excited.
Yeah, again, we've been saying it for a long time now. There's a lot of talent, sort of backed up behind the RLRS. So having the 2 extra teams is going to be so big because we're finally going to be able to see these
Yeah.
players really come up, and it's going to start, sort of like a farm system for the RLCS, really.
I mean, that's the goal, I would think.
Right? That's what you'd hope.
Yeah. So we'll keep you guys posted on how things unfold throughout all this. As RLRS plans get closer and closer, we will be doing We'll be doing a episode where we do like our predictions and stuff. We may even be doing a stream on the day of plans. Not streaming the games most likely, but just like talking about it. We'll try and maybe have on a couple guests and stuff. It's all we don't know for sure if we're doing it yet, but that's something that we're looking into doing is offering just like a place to come chill, hang out, have us all discuss how we think the brackets are unfolding and things like that. So keep your eyes peeled on information about that as that all gets closer. Still a ways out though. It's not until September. But
Right on.
you got anything else you want to add tonight?
Oh my God, we're already at the end of the show.
Yeah. No, like that was my thing too. I was like, well, we have 2 minutes. I don't know that we should even try to go and do a freewheeling segment.
Probably not. No, I would say if I had to add one thing, I am super duper excited that we get to see some real high level Rocket League action again this weekend. We've kind of missed out on that a little bit lately. It feels good.
Yeah.
We're in the
It
swing
feels
of the
like there's
off-season.
been a lot more space. Well, like drama for sure. But it just feels like there's been a lot of space because we were having just like tournament after tournament after tournament after tournament, and then like all of a sudden out of nowhere it's just like this dry spell. And so I think everyone's really pumped for this.
Yeah, that should be a really good event, and hopefully the viewership is there to support it too.
Yeah.
With drops, I think it should help, but I really want to see this event in particular succeed because it adds a lot of character to the Rocket League
Yeah.
scene, which is what it's something I talked about with Raw Greg last week. It's something we need desperately. So
Yeah. So that all you got? You got anything else, or is that good?
no, that'll just about do it. Can I do my plug at the end? Are you going to give me the chance to do my own plug?
I always do. You can go ahead and do it now, though.
All right, so real quick, if you guys want a chance at a super duper awesome giveaway on my
Oh
Twitch
yeah, I
channel,
forgot you were doing that.
on my Twitch channel, I happened to get a very generous donation of an extra code from RLCS land. One of my friends went, doesn't play the game, had the code. Very
Wait,
generous.
he went but doesn't play?
Yeah, it was fun to go to still.
Yeah, I guess so. It's interesting
it's
though.
still cool. But yeah, just have the extra code, and I'm giving it away. So if you go to my Twitch channel, again, that's twitch.tv/Perino, Perino, all lowercase. Go ahead, look at that, see how you can enter. We're doing the drawing a week and a half from now. I believe it's the 23rd of August, that Friday. So
Okay.
go and check it out.
His all these links and stuff, by the way, are also going to be in the description for the YouTube video. So if you happen to not catch it and you're an audio listener, don't worry, you can go there and find that information as well. You can also follow us at our Twitter handles. Mine is at PWR_Ryan, and his is at Perino TV. Thank you guys very much for joining us tonight. Once again, be sure to follow us here on Twitch so you can stay up to date with us as we go live each week. And then we'll be uploading this episode later on youtube.com/playingwithrocketsrl. It feels so good to say that. And we will be uploading it on various podcast services for anyone who missed today's live recording. If currently we offer it on Spotify, iTunes, Google Play Music, and Pocket Casts. If none of those are your preferred way of listening to podcasts, let us know, and we will try to get ourselves on your preferred service as well. SoundCloud, that one is not going to happen because you'd have to pay to do it. As long as we don't have to pay to do it, like, we will try to get our stuff wherever you are. Currently, we're on those 4 and YouTube though. But guys, it's been our pleasure to have you with us. This has been Around the Scene, presented by Playing with the Rockets. I'm Ryan. That's Perino. And we will see you guys next time. Take care and enjoy the rest of your day.
Have
See
a
you
good
next
one,
time.
everyone.